Hey VC, it's Billy here, coming at you with a country update. This is stuff that I have picked up during the month of October pretty much. I split my country finds into two separate videos, so this is the first part of the country update for October and early November of this year. Most of these were found. I have a couple thrift stores around here. I have dropped in on a couple garage sales that I found some really good country stuff at, and some old rock as well. As you know, I'm sure all you guys know, those things are so hit or miss. I almost quit going to them, but every now and then you find some good stuff. And when you get stuff for a quarter or 50 cents or a dollar or two that's in decent shape, it kind of gets your juices flowing again, and you tend to hit another 20 shitters in a row that have nothing, or Perry Como and all that, Andy Williams and stuff, which if you dig that stuff, that's cool, but it's not up my alley. So diving into it here, you'll notice on my channel now that I am a hardcore country music fan. I love classic country. I love 70s country. I really like, there are some 80s country that I like. I know hardcore country fans don't really particularly like 80s country, but that's when I kind of was shaped into country music, was mid to late 80s, when you start talking about Randy Travis, Dwight Yoakam, Steve Earle, even Ricky Van Shelton, George Strait, Hank Williams Jr. was winning all those Entertainer of the Years at the time. And so I love that stuff. I'm a huge fan of 90s country as well. This new stuff, though, that they call country music, isn't country music. Chris Stapleton, Eric Church, Jamie Johnson, Sturgill Simpson, Cody Jinks, a handful of other guys, Whitey Morgan. I know I'm forgetting some, but even Blackberry Smoke to a degree. Their stuff's fairly country. They have a lot of country influences in their stuff. I dig it. But the stuff they're playing on the radio, nah, not for me. So I'll stick with this stuff. So like I said, this is stuff, I don't remember if these were thrift store finds or picked up in trade or however, yard sale, whatever, but some of them I'll obviously remember, but there were too many here to kind of think of. Right off the bat, we've got some Hank Williams Jr. This is stuff that obviously I've got multiple copies of in the collection, but anytime I run across a good one out in the wild, I pick it up, and I can't not pick it up. This one here, this Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, has so many great songs on it, and this is kind of when he, I believe this is his first record when he decided he was going to get out of his father's footsteps and quit singing his daddy's songs and really start doing his own thing. And this is some really good stuff. You've got Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, Odie and Denver's on this. Yeah, Odie and Denver, Outlaw Women, I Don't Have Any More Love Songs. He does a kind of a corny rendition. Honestly, a lot of his cover songs are corny to me, but he does a corny rendition of White Lightning. But there are some of them that he does really good covers on, but for the most part, I think his covers are corny. I much prefer his original stuff. Anyway, picked up Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, Family Tradition. Everybody's, if you're a country fan, you know the song. But this one has Family Tradition, I've Got Rights, Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line, but the rest of it is not really, I haven't listened to it recently enough to know, oh yeah, the ones that aren't seriously popular hits, I don't know about those, but I'm going to give this a listen here again real quick. And then one of my absolute favorite Hank Williams Jr. records, Rowdy. Love this record. You're talking about two sides here. One side's going to have originals. The second side has a lot of covers on it. But you got Dixie on My Mind, Texas Women, Can't Find Many Kissers, Give a Damn Ain't Much More, and then he has some covers on the other side with Ramblin' Man, Footlights, Tennessee River, and Are You Sure Hank Done It This Way. Just good stuff on there. On that one as well. And then another artist that I picked up a handful of his stuff is Randy Travis. I'm a huge Randy Travis fan. Obviously, those of you who are country music fans as well know Randy's story, the health problems he's had over the past few years, and the strokes, and the serious health conditions that he's had. And then for him to have been inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame this past month, along with Charlie Daniels, and then they honored him at the 50th annual CMA Awards. Anybody who's everybody was out there singing. I mean, from Charlie Pride to Brad Paisley, Roy Clark, Garth Brooks, Clint Black, like Brad Paisley, I said, Carrie Underwood. I mean, all the popular current artists out there, as well as they brought out so many legends of yesterday. And they sang a little bit of medley of their songs, Alabama. They did mountain music and so on and so forth. But at the very end, they did a version of Forever and Ever Amen. And Randy came out and did the last Amen. Everybody got real quiet, and he just sang Amen, which, the man could hardly talk. For him to come out and sing Amen, I'm not going to lie, man, being almost 43 years old, I teared up big time. I got emotional, and I love Randy Travis. So I found these out there. These I've probably got. This is the album, like Kiss's Destroyer, that I probably have the most copies of. I don't know why, but I can't let this copy. Anytime I see it out there for a quarter, 50 cents, $1, $2, $3, I still buy it. A lot of times it's not to upgrade, because I've got sealed, mint copies of the original, but it's to have and to pass along. We have people over for listening parties and things like that, and hey, do you have this record, man? This is a record you need to get into this record, and I'll pass it along. And you wouldn't believe how many people that have been turned on to country music by this record right here through me. If you do that, by all means, this is one of those records to pick up and say, hey guys, if you really want to get into some country music, some real country music, give this guy a try. On the other hand, Storms of Life, Digging Up Bones, No Place Like Home, 1982, Send My Body Home on the Freight Train. My personal favorite here, Reasons I Cheat. God, what a great song. Sad country song, but great. Loaded with great stuff, guys. Give this a listen if you haven't already. Randy Travis, Storms of Life, his debut. And then I picked up a couple more. Old 8x10 and No Holding Back. These are mid to late 80s country stuff, but there's some killer hits on these. They were probably yard sale, 50 cent albums. Always a pleasure to pick those up as well. This next one here, I'd be hard pressed. If you put a gun to my head and made me pick my favorite country vocalist, male vocalist, I'd be hard pressed to pick one. But obviously I would have to pick somebody, and this guy would probably be the first one that comes to mind. The Voice, Vern Gosdin. Yes, there's Keith Whitley. Yes, there's George Jones. Yes, there's George Strait. But this guy here, Vern Gosdin, they didn't call him The Voice for nothing. And this particular record is probably, as a record stands, one of the best country records ever recorded. It's not a, barring comps, of course, but just an album. You want to talk about hits. Do You Believe Me Now, which is one of the absolute saddest country songs ever. know, it's right up there with He Stopped Loving Her Today and Ray Price's For the Good Times. I mean, those are some sad songs, but Vern Goslin's Do You Believe Me Now is about as sad as it gets. Is It Raining at Your House? Set 'Em Up Joe. Chiseled in Stone. Who Are You Gonna Blame It On This Time? Is It Over Yet? You're talking hit after hit after hit on a record that was recorded in 1987. This guy the country music was passing him by, and he said, no, you're not. I'm going to show you what country music's all about, and this record has it right here. Vern Gosdin, Chiseled in Stone. Then this next one, little Lori Morgan, better known as Keith Whitley's wife, I guess. No, her dad's George Morgan. She's grown up in the country music world. Great singer, beautiful lady. This has several Trainwreck of Emotion. This was Lori Morgan at her peak. Trainwreck of Emotion, Out of Your Shoes, Dear Me, 5 Minutes, He Talks to Me, Leave a Light On. Good stuff. Pretty tough record to find. Any of that late 80s to early 90s country is as I don't have to explain to you guys, it's tough to find, and I'm always happy to pick that stuff up. Another one that was tough to find, we get a lot of Conway fans in the VC. This here is one of his later issues. It's from 1987, but it has one of my favorite Conway songs on it. When you get down to late Conway, I mean, Don't Call Him a Cowboy, a couple others, but That's My Job, which is on this record here. That's a killer song. I bought this record just for that song, but you can't go wrong with any Conway, and this is great. I put it on, gave it a listen. Can't go wrong with Conway. This copy here is one that I actually bought off of Discogs. It just showed up a couple days ago. It's a sealed copy of Waylon's Greatest Hits. It's the embossed gold cover. But such a classic cover there. And you've got all the hits. Obviously, you can't really see them there, but Honky Tonk Heroes, Lonesome, Ornery and Mean, Amanda, Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line, Ladies Love Outlaws, Good Hearted Woman, I've Always Been Crazy, which is one of my favorite Waylon songs. It's hard to not have a favorite Waylon song, but that one right there for me, I've Always Been Crazy, has always done it for me. I'm a Ramblin' Man, Are You Sure Hank Done It This Way? Like I said, I've probably got 3 or 4 or 5 copies of this in the collection. It's another one of those, like I said, like Kiss Destroyer or Randy Travis, Storms of Life, that what's too many copies, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, sealed copy of Waylon. Well, what we're listening to, talking to Waylon, good segue here, Honky Tonk Heroes. What we're listening to in the background is Billy Joe Shaver, the guy who wrote pretty much all, if not all, of one of the finest country music records ever recorded, and that's That's Waylon's Honky Tonk Heroes record. I think it was produced by Billy Sherrill, but it's undeniably one of the greatest country music records ever recorded. If you haven't heard it, you need to get it. Look it up, whether you want to YouTube it, iTunes, or it's not that hard of a record to find. So go out and find the record. It's not an inexpensive record, but do yourself a favor and add it to your collection. It is hands down the best outlaw country record ever recorded. So we're listening to Billy Joe Shaver, who wrote a lot of those songs, and legend has it, he had these demos, and he'd been packing them around town forever. He came up from Texas, and as a songwriter, singer-songwriter, and he'd been packing these demos around for quite some time, and he beating Waylon's door down trying to get this stuff in. Apparently he had given him several copies of this record, you know, with these demos that would turn into the Honky Tonk Heroes record. And I guess one day or one night he got liquored up, you know, which was no surprise back in those days. He saw him out in a bar, and legend has it he basically walked up to him and said, "Hey, asshole, I've given you these tapes. Why have you not got a hold of me? If you don't record these songs, I'm going to kick your ass." And apparently Waylon, that got his attention, and he finally gave those songs a listen. And those songs were these songs. Steve, give a shout out to Harmless Rebel. He had mentioned Billy Joe Shaver on one of his videos a while back, and I kind of gave him a little bit of a sneak, like, dude, wait till you see what I found. This guy here, this record is impossible to find, and there was no way I was going to pay what guys are asking for this record. This is an original Monument. It's on the Monument label. They have two different pressings of this. Both of them are stupidly ridiculous in price. They're hard to find, absolutely hard to find. But this is essentially the demos that what would turn into Waylon's Honky Tonk Heroes record. And you know, you're talking songs like Black Rose, Old Five and Dimers Like Me, Jesus Christ, What a Man, I Played the Game Too Long, Been to Georgia on a Fast Train, which Waylon didn't really include on there, I don't believe. But Willie the Wandering Gypsy and Me, Low Down Freedom, Bottom Dollar. It's unbelievable country music right here. And I love the if you can see it there, the sign that says "Do not stand in doorway." You know, and there he is with that possum eating shit grin on his face, just standing there. But that's Billy Joe Shaver, and man, this is such a clean record. These I actually found two of these at my thrift store. Billy Joe Shaver and Old Five and Dimers Like Me. I'm almost embarrassed to say, but these were 50 cents a piece. I picked them up with a couple other classic country stuff, the stuff that you see all the time, Glenn Campbell. I think there was a Ray Price record in there, but I was blown away to see something like these two records in there. So, guys, keep your eyes out. They stuff like that can't be found. Obviously, you know, you guys all find stuff like that all the time, but for me, those were special finds. Another one that I picked up here, Cash, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. What a classic Cash record. I love the cover. It's more of like a concept record, I guess. This is a really super clean copy with the Kmart $3.60 price tag. Still got the shrink on it as well. Very clean. But it's got stuff like The Legend of John Henry's Hammer. I don't know if Hey Porter's on here. No, Hey Porter's not on this one. But Waiting for a Train, 9 Pound Hammer, Casey Jones, Busted, which is a killer song. But John Henry's Hammer, great song. Picked up another Cash as well. This is an upgrade copy. The San Quentin concert, live from San Quentin. Everybody knows about this record, so there's no need to go into great detail on it. But that was an upgrade copy. And then a couple things I found as well. David Allan Coe, Rides Again. Huge David Allan Coe fan. I've loved David's stuff. Obviously, I think the first thing I heard of his was either Take This Job and Shove It, which was recorded by Johnny Paycheck, or oh gosh, what's the You Never Even Call Me By My Name. I can't even, just drawing a blank right now, but yeah, You Never Even Call Me By My Name. This one here, though, was one that I never did run across. I run across a lot of other David Allan Coe, but you don't find his stuff in record stores either for some reason. I don't know if people just hang on to it or what the deal is. Maybe it's just the area that I'm in. But I love David Allan Coe. It doesn't matter if it's the hits or even the filler stuff, the stuff that he throws on his albums. His stuff is all usually really good. There's one or two albums in the mid to late 80s that were garbage, but everything else, all his stuff from the 70s, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're killer country albums. This one here has, the hits on this one is Willie, Waylon and Me. Lately, I've been thinking too much lately, and If That Ain't Country. And the cool thing about this one is, and I don't know, I haven't really researched it, but you can see there, signed by David Allan Coe on the back. I'm going to have to check and see, but I don't know if they knew what they had or what, but or if just jack shit signed it, David Allan Coe, but I wouldn't see why somebody would do that. Who knows? I'm going to have to research his signature and see, but either way, that's cool. I mean, and for what I what I paid for it, I think it was $1, $2 maybe. I'm happy, even if it's just Joe Shit's signature on the back. I don't care. Because it's a great record. And then the last one here is another David Allan Coe record, Long Haired Redneck. I have a very terrible pressing of this. It's just been beat all to hell, but now I'm glad to have this one. This one has Long Haired Redneck. I'm trying to think, there was one other. No, that's pretty much the only one you're gonna know off of it. But it's such a great song. But that's, like I said earlier, this is one of those albums that you put on. It doesn't matter whether you're familiar with the songs or not. You're gonna enjoy it. It's hardcore, true to the bone, country music, and it's good stuff. So I'm gonna leave it with that. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with me. I'm at 20 minutes. I ramble on here, but thank you guys. For everything so far. I'm going to do another country update video here shortly in the next couple days, as well as a couple rock updates that I've picked up. Like I said, this stuff all covers everything that I've picked up the month of October up until present. So, because I'm probably going to take some time off around the holidays. I'm not sure, but I plan to stay active, but you know, you got to do the family stuff around the holidays. So everybody have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.